what do you think?
I know that we need to restore the family. We need a smaller government because government don't make anything work. They screw you up. We need to stop taking care of women who are having these babies out of wedlock.
Correct.
We need to stop taking care of these women who are coming from other countries. We need to stop taking care of their babies.
Okay,
we need to take care of American families first by getting them away from the government and restoring order.
Okay,
What's going on, everyone? Talks with Kenny here today. We're reacting to, is there a global population crisis? Jesse Lee Peterson went off on this. I found this pretty funny. Let's get into the video.
Elon Musk has been tweeting about the Earth's alleged underpopulation crisis. But should we be concerned? We've agreed that it's not birth rate that's causing any kind of climate change. It's not the driver, at least, that's for sure. You think it should be, people should qualify and be tested. You think people should be tested. You think we should just feed them and let them age out.
Voluntarily.
Yeah, right.
I mean, so as a society, I mean, we value freedom, and the, reproductive choice is one of those freedoms. And I think the better approach is to try to educate people so that they're responsible when they have children and they can care for them. But I mean, I think having the government getting involved in anything like this, I mean, China's done that. It's a disaster over there.
Yeah, the one-child policy, like a lot of the concerns with this population thing, I think is unwarranted at all. Because if you look at the U.S., we're only using 5% of the land here in the U.S. Only 5%. That means there's 95% of undeveloped land and all this stuff. Because I think people who are prone to there's a population crisis. We have too much people in this world live in urban areas, highly dense populated areas. I don't think we have a population problem. We have a concentration problem. 5%. Like only 5% of the land we're using here in the U.S. Right? And people are going to say, hey, people are having kids that they can't afford. Well, why we have all these child welfare things and welfare state is because we want the government to help people out, right? But in the same breath, you're saying that people shouldn't be allowed to have kids if they're not able to afford it. I just think if you have kids, you have a responsibility to them. If you engage in an action that you know that children can be produced from this action, you should be liable for that. You should take responsibility for that and take care of your obligations. Hey, you bring these people into the world and you shouldn't kill them off because it's not convenient for you to do so. I just think people nowadays, they don't want to make sacrifices anymore. They want all the necessities to be taken care of by the government so they can use their money to spend it on stuff that they want, not stuff that they need, right? They want the government to give them healthcare, housing, pretty much take up all the necessities so that way when they make money, they can spend it on frivolous things like clothes, expensive cars, all that stuff. I just think nowadays in our country, people don't want to sacrifice for the so-called greater good. But I digress. Let's continue into the video.
Completely agree with you about reproductive freedom. I think that's the most important thing we need today. Hundreds of millions of couples are denied their right to not procreate. But you were mentioning
how's that?
Oh, go ahead.
How are they denied that right?
They do not have the contraceptive services, reproductive health services that they need. Those are not.
I'm sorry, Liz Knight, you're a crazy mother of a boy. What? She says humans should naturally become extinct. Bro, when did we have people that hated their own species so much in this country? I don't get it. I see the same trend in environmentalists, these animal lovers. Like they put everything above their own human life. And whenever you ask them, okay, put your money where your mouth is. You first. Oh, they don't want to end their life, but they want everyone else to. Oh, guys should no longer procreate. And I remember he mentioned in the beginning that he wanted voluntarily. What if no one actually listens to you and just keeps on reproducing? You're just gonna sit there and just like, oh, everyone made the choice to reproduce. No, I'm pretty sure he'll be like, no. Like I guess he'll try to inject some fear into this. But I don't think we have a population problem. I'm in agreement with Elon Musk. I believe that we need to have as much children as possible because that inevitably creates more potential. Like we might birth the next Einstein. Who knows? Right? But we will never have that potential if we just stick with what we already have. Right? It's like an NBA team that never goes to the draft. All you're gonna have is aging talent. You won't have an opportunity to put in new talent, new breath of life into your team. You're just gonna have the same stagnant, old, stuck in their ways team. New people brings in new possibilities, and that's why I'm in agreement with Elon Musk. So to sit here and say, "Oh, humans should just naturally go extinct," I'm like, nah, that's too nihilistic for me, sir. But hey, end of the day, people have their choices. They can get sterilized themselves, whatever. But end of the day, I don't want to hear later on that, oh my God, I want kids. Or if you choose to have kids, I don't want these same people to be trying to influence my kids, when I'm like, no. You made a decision not to have kids. Don't influence your own kids that you don't have. I'm going to influence my kids. Don't come here trying to indoctrinate my kids without my permission. That's what we're going to have. That's what we have the problem. They say communists don't have kids. They have yours. But I digress.
Provided, and maybe people should supply their own, but they can't afford it because they're having more offspring that they can't feed.
Where's that?
Just about everywhere. Try to get a sterilization here in America when you haven't had kids and you're only 22.
That's true.
We're not allowing people to not
We
breed.
see people like that all the time, and you can put an IUD in. A copper IUD is effective for 10 years. It's inert.
Have you ever?
Yeah, use contraceptives, bro. That or abstain. Yo, I don't get these people. They want forced labor, it sounds like. Hey, I want to be sterilized. I want you to sterilize it. Well, I don't believe in sterilizing you. Go find someone who will. If you can't find someone who will, this is why I'm talking about personal responsibility. See what you can do. Hey, what can I do to prevent myself from procreating? Not have sex or use contraceptives. That's it. If no one wants to do it for you, do it for yourself. Do for self. That's the message. If you really don't want to procreate, don't have sex. Abstain. Abstinence. You have all these contraceptives out there, and you want people to snip. Oh, I'm mad that people don't want to do what I want. Everyone's entitled to their own labor. If a doctor doesn't want to do the procedure to you, find one that will. And if it's harder, yeah, well, hey, how bad you want it. But I digress.
Very
Worked in a grocery
effective.
store and seen a lady with a bonnet on her head with 8 kids walking behind her? You think that she's being responsible? You think that she's really taking into consideration what she's supposed to do responsibly? You think that she's not on Section 8 housing? You don't think that we paying for her to house her kids, who's probably going to grow up and steal my wheels off my car?
I disagree with all this crap that I hear.
I love Jesse Lee Peterson, bro. I respect the man that he says exactly how he feels, and I hope one day I could do that too, bro. Because he's just so blunt. Like, he reminds me of my Haitian uncle, bro. If you know anything about Haitians, they very blunt and straightforward. They just tell you how they feel, bro. Even if it sounds off the wall, hey, you respect it. I wanted to talk about Antoine Daniel's point about what he was saying, that you think that lady is being responsible. Yeah, she's not being responsible, but I think the way the government is currently constructed is incentivizing her to be irresponsible. Because I believe if there's no safety net, she wouldn't be doing all that, because she will have to be taking care of those 8 kids. And that's the point. That's my point. That's the point of less government. If government wasn't institute everything, you wouldn't be incentivizing all these bad behaviors, all these bad decisions. You won't be empowering these women to go out here and think, oh, I can just have kids by myself, and I'm going to get all these cash and prizes from the government. And my thing is, hey, government should be helping you to be able to sustain yourself, not for you to be forever dependent on the government. That's my thing. I believe the government should be helping you to go on your own, right? Not sitting here keep feeding you, and you become dependent and lazy to the government. And then when these Democrats come out here, or people who are for big government come out here and say, hey, they want to shrink the government, they might take away your benefits, it almost effectively is a bribe. But I digress. Let's get into Jesse Lee Peterson's take.
I grew up with 6 brothers and 7 sisters at a time when, I grew up on a plantation in Alabama, and we grew up in a little hut house, bathroom outside. And my family raised an amazing family, children. But what the difference was then than it is now is that before you had babies, you got married. So you have the father and the mother in the home. And while the father was out earning a living, the mother was watching over his children. And so you were able to raise decent children. We didn't have government in our lives at the time.
Hey, ding, 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 ding. I agree. Libertarians will agree with me. Conservatives understand what he's talking about. Marry before you carry. right? And if you think Jesse Lee Peterson talking smoke, I always make this example. Look at the Asian community. They have most of their kids under 2-parent households. Majority of Asians, when they have kids, they're married. Look at the black community. Majority of people born in the black community are under single parent households, mostly single mothers. And you see the polar opposite results. The black community is known as the poorest community in America, and the Asian community is known as the richest community in America. The result speaks for itself. When you're prosperous and you're able to self-sustain yourself, you don't need the government involvement. That means you give leeway to, hey, government, this is not needed, cut that out. Limited government, smaller government. But the government's you see the conflict of interest now? Now the government's like, oh shit, if more people do what the Asians do, people won't need us. So we need to force people to need us. Oh, look at all these women having kids without wedlock. Someone needs to come in and save them. We need to help them. And then the government effectively is trying to cement the need for it in private life, because they're saying, hey, look, people can't do anything for themselves. We need to step in and help them. We need to step in and save them. To the video.
And so we were able to do that. And in America, we were not allowed all these illegal aliens and refugees to come into our country. So our government were not taking care of folks from other parts of the world and the families in America. We took care of ourselves.
I think you've pretty much pissed off everybody. But you said...
My thing is, they all laughing. This is one of the primary reasons why I do not like white liberals. They always think they know what's best for you. When someone's telling you something, you listen. And then if you have an actual argument, attack their argument. Don't go with this beta ass like statement. Oh, I think you just pissed off a bunch of people. So what? So what if I piss off about a bunch of people? What's wrong with my argument? Challenge my argument. Don't sit here trying to frame me as some, oh, I'm crazy. Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. All right. I think that's the common thing I notice when Jesse Lee Peterson talks, is that people try to frame him as, oh, he's crazy. Oh, he's trolling. Oh, he's doing this. No, attack his argument. Address his argument. Why are you laughing? Why is it was said not true? Yes or no? If you see no problem in his argument, to me, that's an admission that, hey, I have no argument for what you're saying, so I'm going to just try to laugh you off and try to make it seem like you don't know what you're talking about. And I think that's the common tactic that the left like to use. They like to think that debates and conversation are a popularity contest. They try to make it seem like, oh, your opinion, you're a fringe crazy person. You're not the majority opinion. No, my opinion is the majority opinion. They think in mob mentality. Just because I have the popular opinion, that means my opinion's right, because more people agree with what I'm saying, instead of the truth being the truth. But yeah, I digress.
You said there's not anything you've heard that you don't think is crap. So what do you think? You said what you don't think. What do you think?
I know that we need to restore the family. We need a smaller government, because government don't make anything work. They screw you up. We need to stop taking care of women who are having these babies out of wedlock.
Correct.
We need to stop taking care of these women who are coming from other countries. We need to stop taking care of their babies.
But
we need to take care of American families first by getting them away from the government and restoring order.
Okay,
I keep laughing because the left, they do all this passive aggressive bull crap that I can't stand sometimes. And I notice it a lot in liberal women, liberal white women especially. They do it all. They do all these dumb faces, and I'm like, yo, like, if you got something, say something. Speak up. But if you don't got nothing to say, you don't got nothing to counter his arguments, hey, shut up. Because that's annoying to me. I don't know why. I don't know why that's like a pet peeve of mine. But go back to what is, if you take away the safety net, if people know that they're liable for 100% of the choices that they do or the decisions that they make, they'll make better decisions. If there's no safety nets, people make better decisions. Tell me I'm lying. If you know, hey, if you wreck your car and you know your parents will always buy you a new one, would you be a better driver or a worse driver? You'll be a worse driver. But if you know, hey, this is the only car you get, you're gonna treat it with greater care than if you knew that, oh, my parents will just buy me a new one every time I get into an accident. Tell me I'm lying. Like, you can go out and test these ideas out in reality. Jesse Lee Peterson is advocating for, hey, government should stop helping people. Government should stay out of the private matters of people. Government shouldn't be supporting people's livelihood, regardless of what decisions they make or didn't make. Okay, will they make better decisions or will they make worse decisions? They'll make better decisions because they know they can't fall back on the government. This is why this is the main argument against people who want the state and everything, who want big government. Oh, government should be in control of everything because then in the day, it's not your responsibility anymore to take care of yourself. Because you'll be like, oh, this government's responsibility. The government's supposed to help me take care of my kids. The government's supposed to do this for me. The government's supposed to provide housing for me. You'll start getting people into this mentality of entitlement when end of the day, you're responsible for yourself. Men don't work, men don't eat. Become less of a burden on the system compared to someone who says, hey, someone needs to feed me. Someone needs to carry my burden. Someone needs to carry my load. I don't know. Like, yo, like what Jesse Lee says, it makes sense. Ain't nothing but facts over here.
You're a pastor, right?
Yes.
And you're a radio host?
Yes.
Okay. And you said you believe white people should have more children?
We definitely need white babies. And I tremble at the idea that that the white group is going down in numbers because if you lose white folks, America, it's over for America. Because if you notice, white people tend to be more innovative. They're more creative.
And the funny part is he's not lying, dog. Because look at the results. Don't take it. Don't be like, oh, he kissing the white man's butt. Look at it this way. Who's usually rich? Who's the race or group of people that people think they have privilege just for being their race? White people. Who's running all these companies? White people. Who's starting all these companies? Who's doing all these innovations? Jeff Bezos, what he is. Elon Musk, what he is. Technically he's African American, but what he is. Like this believe it or not, there's some facts to what he's saying. Now people may not like what he said, but I don't know, man. Based on what I observe in reality, what he said was accurate. And in general, I don't think just white people. I think all people should have more kids, honestly. And I think one of the reasons why I think we have such a population concentration here in the U.S. is because all the jobs are in these big urban cities, right? And I think as Americans, we lost our entrepreneurial spirit. Because if we were all had that entrepreneurial spirit, we'll go out to rural America and create jobs there. We'll create companies, create more jobs, bring infrastructure, bring traffic to these cities. But the fact that not a lot of Americans want to start their own businesses or do things on their own, that we want to be employees instead of employers. We go where all the jobs are at. And all the jobs are at what? These highly dense, populated cities like New York, San Francisco, LA, Miami, Orlando. That's where we go because that's where all the jobs are at. Because we have an employee mindset instead of an employer mindset. When you're an employer, you can go to these rural areas and be like, hey, I'm gonna start a company here and I'm gonna bring jobs here into this small city. And then you bring traffic depending on how big you make your company. But I digress. Let's finish the last 30 seconds into the video because this is some gold here.
They have ideas about things. All these other races don't do nothing but destroy. They don't build. They destroy.
I said you'd piss off everybody. I was wrong. Now you pissed off everybody. Do you have a story?
Oh my God! Shout out to Jesse Lee Peterson, man. People may not rock some people may not rock with what he said, but hey, I agree with everything he said right there. Maybe the white people thing, I don't know, but I find it comical. But hey, refute what he said. But all I see is when people don't directly confront your argument or they just try to, now you pissed off everyone. I'm like, yo, okay, what that had to do with what he said? I'm still waiting for your counter argument. I'm still waiting for your rebuttal. That's the kind of person I am. I don't care about the necessarily who the person is. I care more about what they're saying. And I can vibe with what they're saying or not vibe with what they're saying. And if you don't vibe with what they're saying, give a counter argument. Don't sit here and try to character assassinate the guy or trying to dismiss him or trying to frame him as, oh, you pissed off everybody, like making it seem like he's in the minority, because that's what Dr. Phil was doing. He cast as, oh, you're in the minority, so we shouldn't listen to you. Mob mentality. And mob mentality is bad. This is why democracy is not a sustainable system. This is why our American system is a republic. But hey, I digress. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. You vibe with what Jesse Lee Peterson was saying, or just give me your thoughts in general. I'm interested to hear on this one because this one, it was pretty funny. I had to hold myself back from laughing. But hey, See you guys on the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.